the installation of a fiber optic communication line in a remote, waterlogged area using heavy-tracked machinery. 2 crawler tractors are equipped with special attachments for laying fiber optic cables along muddy and uneven terrain. The first tractor carries a large reel of cable mounted on a rotating frame. As it moves forward, the cable is gradually unspooled and fed through a guiding pipe to ensure smooth and tension-free deployment. Workers on the platform assist by adjusting the cable position and monitoring its alignment during the process. The second tractor follows behind, pulling a plow-like device that creates a shallow trench in the soft ground where the fiber optic cable is placed. This method allows the cable to be buried safely below the surface, protecting it from mechanical damage and environmental factors. Despite the challenging conditions, mud, standing water, and slippery soil, the tracked vehicles maintain steady movement, ensuring continuous cable laying. The operation demonstrates how specialized equipment and skilled coordination are essential for installing fiber optic networks in rural or swampy regions, where conventional methods would be inefficient or impossible. During a challenging earth-moving operation, a Komatsu D375 bulldozer became trapped in deep, sticky mud on a rugged construction site. The terrain was uneven and waterlogged from recent snowmelt, causing the machine's heavy tracks to sink into the soft ground. Despite several attempts to free itself by reversing and adjusting the blade angle, the operator realized the bulldozer was stuck too deeply to move under its own power. The rear ripper and front blade were partially submerged, and each movement only caused the tracks to dig deeper into the mud. Fortunately, another Komatsu D375 was working nearby. Recognizing the situation, the operator of the second machine maneuvered carefully toward the immobilized bulldozer. First, the rescuing operator cleared excess soil around the trapped machine to reduce resistance. Then, both operators coordinated their efforts using radio communication and hand signals to ensure safety during the recovery. A heavy-duty steel cable was attached between the drawbars of the 2 bulldozers. Once secured, the assisting D375 gradually increased its pulling force, synchronizing with the trapped bulldozer's reverse motion. The ground vibrated as the engines roared in unison, and slowly the stuck machine began to move. Mud splashed from the spinning tracks as the pulling continued steadily, avoiding any sudden jerks that could damage the towing equipment. After several minutes of controlled effort, the trapped bulldozer finally broke free from the muddy grip. Both operators stopped to inspect their machines, ensuring that no damage occurred to the undercarriage or hydraulic systems. The successful recovery demonstrated both teamwork and the impressive strength of the Komatsu D375 bulldozers. Once freed, the operator drove the machine onto firmer ground and resumed work with greater caution. This rescue highlighted the importance of cooperation, operator experience, and careful terrain assessment when operating heavy machinery in difficult conditions. The event served as a reminder that even the most powerful bulldozers can face challenges in extreme terrain, but with skillful teamwork, recovery is always possible. A heavy-duty recovery took place in Nashville, Tennessee, when a fully loaded milk truck rolled over on a narrow section of road. Due to the tight space, the recovery team from Dad's Towing faced serious challenges positioning their NRC record. The crew carefully assessed the scene and decided to lift the overturned truck using a crane recovery setup, working cautiously to avoid further damage. The limited space made every movement critical, as the crane had to extend over the top of the NRC truck to reach the casualty. After securing all rigging points, the recovery team slowly lifted and uprighted the truck, ensuring the load remained stable. Despite the complexity of the situation, the operation was completed safely, though the operator noted this setup would not be repeated due to the close clearance of the front wheels. On Tuesday morning, July 26, 2022, Winters Rigging carried out a remarkable locomotive recovery operation near Dresden, New York, along the edge of Seneca Lake. The incident involved a 150 to 160-ton GE locomotive that had overturned on the side of an embankment, resting precariously on a concrete culvert. The recovery team faced challenging terrain, limited space, and the massive weight of the derailed engine. However, through expert coordination and the use of heavy equipment, the crew managed to complete the recovery with precision and safety. To handle the task, 4 powerful Caterpillar 583 side boom cranes were deployed, working in synchronized movements. Before the lifting could begin, the team had to carefully drag the locomotive several meters away from the concrete culvert to position it safely for rolling. This step required delicate control to prevent further structural damage to the locomotive or the ground beneath it. The side booms were then strategically placed along the slope, their winch lines connected to the lifting points of the GE unit. With precise communication between operators and riggers, the locomotive was gradually rolled back to an upright position. Each crane played a crucial role, maintaining constant tension to balance the load as the heavy body shifted. Once upright, the next phase involved re-railing the locomotive using additional rigging and alignment tools. The side booms gently lowered the engine onto the tracks, while a bulldozer assisted in grading and clearing debris around the site. By 11:30 a.m., only 3.5 hours after the operation began, the massive locomotive was safely back on the rails, ready to be moved to a nearby yard for inspection and repair. The successful recovery demonstrated the professionalism and teamwork of Winter's rigging, showcasing their expertise in handling large-scale derailments. Through careful planning, coordinated crane operation, and efficient execution, the team transformed a complex emergency into a smooth, controlled recovery operation. The incident took place near the shores of the Dead Sea, where a Liebherr LTM1200 all-terrain crane unexpectedly overturned during a lifting operation. Fortunately, no one was injured, but the size and weight of the machine created a complex and risky recovery situation. The LTM1200, weighing over 100 tons and equipped with an extended telescopic boom, lay partially on its side, embedded in the soft, salty ground. Immediate action was required to stabilize the area and plan the recovery to prevent further damage. The first step was to assess the scene and secure the site. Recovery crews from Avi Cranes arrived with specialized heavy-duty lifting equipment and support vehicles. The ground near the Dead Sea is known for its unstable texture and high salinity, which can compromise the bearing capacity of heavy machinery. Therefore, the recovery plan emphasized ground stabilization before any lifting attempt. Timber mats and steel plates were positioned under the outriggers of the assisting cranes to distribute the load evenly. Next, engineers analyzed the crane's resting position and calculated its center of gravity to design a safe lifting sequence. A secondary Liebherr crane of similar capacity was brought in to assist, working in tandem with a smaller auxiliary crane for balance and control. The damaged LTM1200 was carefully attached with heavy-duty slings and spreader bars to ensure even load distribution across its chassis. The crew checked all rigging points to avoid additional stress on the crane's boom or superstructure. Once preparations were complete, the lifting operation began slowly and methodically. The two cranes coordinated through radio communication, inching the overturned LTM1200 upward from its side. The process required precise synchronization. Any sudden or uneven movement could have twisted the frame or caused the lifting cranes to lose stability. As the damaged crane rose, workers guided it using tag lines to prevent swinging. Step by step, the machine was lifted clear of the ground and rotated back onto its wheels. After the crane was upright, it was inspected for visible damage and fluid leaks. The boom and outriggers were secured, and the crane was prepared for transportation. Due to the soft ground and limited maneuvering space, it was loaded onto a heavy recovery trailer for removal from the site. Additional support vehicles ensured the transport route remained stable and safe throughout the operation. In the end, the recovery was successfully completed without any injuries or secondary incidents. The incident served as a reminder of the importance of ground assessment and load stability during lifting operations in challenging environments like the Dead Sea. Thanks to the professionalism of AVI cranes and the careful coordination of the recovery crew, the overturned Liebherr LTM1200 was safely retrieved and removed, restoring safety and order at the site. It was a tense morning at the construction site when a large, mobile crane unexpectedly toppled over while lifting a heavy load. The accident left the machine lying awkwardly on its side. The immediate priority was safety workers quickly secured the area, ensuring no fuel leakage or structural collapse. Once the site was declared safe, the recovery team arrived to plan the rescue of the fallen crane, a complex task requiring both engineering precision and careful coordination. To begin with, 2 heavy-duty cranes were brought in to execute the lifting operation. Each crane had to be positioned on solid ground, with wide steel mats placed under their outriggers to distribute the load and prevent any further instability. Engineers and rigging specialists assessed the damaged crane's weight, center of gravity, and structural condition to determine safe lifting points. Chains, wire slings, and spreader bars were carefully attached to the frame, while the supervisors communicated constantly through radios to synchronize every movement. As the recovery began, both cranes lifted simultaneously in a slow, controlled motion. The tension in the rigging was monitored closely, as even a slight imbalance could cause a secondary accident. Gradually, the fallen crane started to rise from the ground, its frame groaning under the stress. Dust and oil dripped from the machine as it was gently rotated into an upright position. The coordination between the 2 crane operators was remarkable. Every inch of movement required precision timing and constant adjustments to the lifting angles. Once the damaged crane was upright, it was reinforced and carefully inspected. The crane and cab were severely deformed, making it unable to move on its own. Therefore, the next stage involved transferring it to the recovery vehicle. Heavy cranes were repositioned, and additional cables were connected around the lower chassis. Step by step, the damaged crane was lifted again, this time onto the flatbed of a large, low-floor truck waiting nearby. The rescue team ensured the load was balanced before slowly lowering it onto the trailer, using wooden blocks and chains to secure it for transport. The entire operation took several hours, carried out under the close supervision of safety officers and engineers. The rescue was more than just lifting steel. It was a testament to teamwork, experience, and technical control. By the end of the day, the overturned crane was finally ready to be transported for repair, while the site was cleaned up and inspected for structural damage. This rescue mission was a reminder of the power and risks of heavy machinery. Although the accident caused delays, the rescue operation demonstrated the professionalism of the rescue team. Every step, from stabilizing the site to coordinating the dual crane lift, reflected a deep respect for safety and precision, turning a dangerous situation into a successful example of engineering discipline. A powerful Claas Ariane 620 tractor was called in to rescue a Mercedes-Benz truck that had become stuck on a rural road. The heavy truck, weighing nearly 50 tons, was unable to move due to the soft and uneven surface beneath its wheels. Despite multiple attempts, the driver could not free the vehicle using its own power. Consequently, the Claas tractor, known for its excellent traction and torque, was brought to the site to assist. After securing a strong tow rope between the two vehicles, the tractor slowly began pulling while maintaining steady throttle control to avoid wheel slip. The driver of the truck synchronized the gear and brake release with the tractor's movement, helping to reduce resistance. Gradually, the Mercedes-Benz started to move, inch by inch, as the Claas transferred its pulling force efficiently to the ground. In just a few moments, the heavy truck was freed and brought back to safety. This rescue not only demonstrated the impressive towing capabilities of the Claas 620 Ariane, but also demonstrated the essential teamwork between operators in challenging rescue situations. A Caterpillar excavator becomes trapped while working near a muddy embankment. The operator attempted to maneuver too close to the water's edge, and the ground beneath the tracks suddenly gave way. Within seconds, the heavy machine began to sink, first tilting sideways and then sliding deeper into the soft mud. The operator immediately tried to use the boom and bucket to push the machine upward and out of danger. He extended the arm to the opposite bank and pressed down forcefully, hoping to lift the excavator's front section. However, the saturated soil offered no support. Each movement of the arm caused the tracks to sink further. The cab started to submerge, and water quickly entered the lower compartments. Despite several attempts to swing the arm and reposition, the excavator became increasingly stuck. Eventually, only the boom and part of the cabin remained visible above the muddy water. The machine's self-rescue effort failed completely, and the excavator was left partially underwater, awaiting external recovery by another heavy machine. This incident highlights how unstable ground conditions can overpower even powerful hydraulic equipment.
Eso chinga, ya salió ya.